So there are two parts to this answer. One, I have now been in the process of being a founder myself. As you know, in the past year, I have released product that I've had to sell on a website. And I understand so much more about what it takes to launch a brand, build a brand, and sell a product to people. And then two, yes, talking to these celebrities about their beauty endeavors has been really interesting. So what I admire about specific brands, celebrity brands, is when they use their celebrity to get access to resources to do something that would be otherwise very difficult to do. Mm-hmm. So when we think about John Legend and Loved One, he didn't need a skincare line, right? But John Legend can get the capital needed to create a product that actually has really good quality ingredients, like your jojoba oils, your sea buckthorn oils. I remember I talked to the president of the company at the time, and I was like, I buy sea buckthorn oil. Like, it is expensive. And she's like, not when you're buying like 30,000 units of it, because you have a contract with CVS and Walmart, and you have built-in distribution to 10,000 stores on launch day. And the fact that he said, okay, we're going to launch this brand. We're going to test it on melanin-rich skin from the beginning. That is not something that like a newcomer in the beauty space can do. Like at the price point, with the research, with the backing. So I admire when celebrities basically like use their power for good. Right. I think about like Sabrina Elba and her husband Idris, and this like desire that they have to like shine a light on the continent and African beauty. And who better than this like gorgeous woman, this gorgeous couple with their like Hollywood good looks, to be the people to make a beauty a household name. And the fact that she like links arms with the girls like Giada from Ami Collet, like she's not just like, oh, I'm up here, a celebrity. Like she understands that there are other people that have been in the A-beauty space that she builds with. So I think she's like been intentional about building community. I loved our Alicia Keys episode this year. One, I think Keys Soul Care is phenomenal product. Like I actually think it's like really, really great product. But you can tell that Alicia Keys had a very strong point of view about self-care, why it was important to her, why she wanted to create ritual. I saw this Pamela Anderson clip from the Drew Barrymore show yesterday, and it kind of, it didn't annoy me. Annoy is not specific enough of a word, but Drew Barrymore basically says like, Pamela, like you've owned this space of like being makeup free. And I was like, the Alicia Keys erasure.
Alicia Keys erasure.
The erasure
and
of
the girls
it all.
have been making fun of her for it for so long.
Yes. Like Alicia Keys is someone, and you know, we talked about her cornrows and her braids on the episode. Like she's always had a point of view about beauty. So she's come into this industry with a point of view and wanting to make something that's intentional and for many people. So I think the celebrities that we've spoken to are people that have a strong point of view or are doing something truly unique in the beauty space.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you brought up Jara and Ami Collet, because I almost wonder what you've learned from the opposite end of the spectrum, from the people who are bootstrapping or independent or just trying to build something net new that we've never seen before.
Yes. She's been on the podcast 3 times actually, but she was like when she even had the inkling of the idea of Ami Collet, she shared it on the podcast.
Yep.
She gave me a pep talk at her launch in LA. You were there. And I was like, I've just released these fragrances. I was like, selling things is difficult. It's like a lot of work. And she was like, girl, I remember when I had 5,000 lip oils and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to sell 5,000 lip oils. She's like, now we do that in like a month. I don't know if that's the exact right cadence. She's like, now they're flying off the shelves. Like, she's like, it took time to get there. She's like, I didn't have a big Instagram audience. She was just like, I had all of this stock in this inventory. And I was like, how am I going to sell this product? She's like, you will grow. Like, it's like when you first start, it feels like, how am I ever going to do this? Like, it is really my admiration for beauty founders after the experience of developing something myself and selling something myself has just gone tenfold.
Yeah.
It is really difficult to do. So I really appreciate hearing from founders that have bootstrapped. I mean, she's raised money.
Right.
Ami Collet is also the only beauty brand I've ever invested in. People come to me
which
with
is
like,
really telling because
yeah.
you've talked to a lot of people on this show.
And people come to me with pitch decks all the time. I'm like, one, I don't have like extra cash like this. Like, I'm so flattered that you're asking me for like a $20,000 like seed investment. Don't really have that lying around. But Mbiye Kasonga is just one of the brands that I just like really believed in, and I still really believe in. And again, everything they do is so intentional, and they have such a clear point of view and clear audience in mind. And that's what I just always think about for everything that Naked Beauty produces, whether it's a fragrance or hair rollers. I want it to be done at a high standard and with intention so that it means something when you're consuming a Naked Beauty product, even if that product is the podcast.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. Like thinking about, well, I think if you're putting your business hat on, which I did go to business school, so I'm like, okay, the podcast is a product. It's bringing a lot of people in, and then there's a sort of like funnel to all of the other ways to experience Naked Beauty. And I think you did something kind of interesting when you were planning to release products, right? Like you told us last year what was going to happen, and what has the lived experience been like versus the planning and the sort of dreaming of it?
It's really gratifying to have something out in the world in people's hands that they experience. Like, it makes me so happy that like you use the hair curlers. Like when you send me like a little selfie with like the curlers in, I'm like, you look so cute.
I love them.
Yes. And you're like, and like the fact that I remember using flexi rods and going to sleep and like waking up like angry because my sleep quality was bad. Like my neck hurt. Like,
yes.
And I'm just like, it shouldn't be like this, you know?
Yeah.
And I think about people putting in hair rollers and like having a beautiful sleep and then unwrapping them in the morning, like Christmas morning, and seeing their curls. Like, these are things that make me really happy when I hear people that say they wear the Naked Beauty fragrance every day. I mean, I wear it every day, but
it's really good, guys.
It is great. Definitely buy a bottle if you don't have a bottle yet. That's my marketing plug.
And I will say this is like a genuine plug as well for me, because if there's one fragrance that gets me a compliment every single time I wear it, even if it's just from the people in my own home.
Yes.
Like that, the Naked Beauty fragrance does it every time. It
does. Yeah. Every time people are like, that smells so good. But feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm part of people's lives and their routines, that feels so good. But on the other hand, even people that have never purchased anything from Naked Beauty, like when people say like I spend my Mondays with you, that's the highest compliment.
Yeah.
Because that's time.
Right.
That's a relation. We're in a relationship.
Yeah. No, truly. I think that's one of the things that draws me to podcasts as a medium as well, is the intimacy of an hour spent with someone weekly or bi-weekly or whatever the cadence is. There's no other scenario in 2024 where anyone has my undivided attention for an hour, including my coworkers, like on a Teams meeting, right? Like even when you're on a Teams meeting, you're floating to other tabs, but to stay engaged and sort of like enraptured in something for an hour that you can't even see is a big deal. It's hard to tangibly see that in the same way with a product though, right? Like we can see the download numbers, but it's so hard to imagine that many people actually listening.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yes. I mean, that's like, people always say like, oh, my podcast, I'm struggling with growth. And I'm like, if you have 100 listeners, if you were in a room full of 100 people and they were all sitting there listening to you, you would be like, holy, like this is a huge audience, you know?
Yeah. No, that's so true.